Hello, ladies. Today we're going to be talking about being prepared with food and why this is so important for success. You already have your food plan from me, which is a week-long anti-inflammation food plan. If you need any help with that, you will reach out to me. Okay? We can talk about substitutions or any issues that you might have with your food plan. What's important for being successful in how we nourish ourselves? We are busy women. We work hard, we juggle many, many balls, and self-care can be a challenge. So what I'm encouraging you to do with this information is to be prepared. Preparation is 80% of success in terms of nourishing yourself. When we are prepared, we are far more likely to make choices that support our health and well-being. One thing about the food plan that I want to talk about is that it is a template that provides guidance for food choices. It provides a nice variety of food, and the foods on the plan are anti-inflammatory. However, it's not essential that you stick to the plan 100% in order to get results. I want to encourage you in the beginning to follow the plan as closely as possible. And as you feel as though you are adopting the habits, the good habits in the plan, you can start to create a little bit more variety for yourself in the choices of your food. My first tip for being prepared is to take your food plan and print it, the entire thing, put it on your refrigerator, and every day look ahead to the next day before you start cooking. Save your meal plan to your file on your phone so that you can easily access it when you're out shopping as well. If you find you're not going to be able to prepare meals the following day, say for instance, you are going on site at a job and you know that you're not going to be in the luxury of your own home to prepare your meals, what I suggest you do is to make a double portion of whatever you're having for lunch or whatever you're having for dinner and pack one portion for the next day. Eating the same meal 2 days in a row is far better than scrambling for something to eat on the fly. Okay, when you're out shopping, I want you to not so much worry about what's on the list in terms of the vegetables. I want you to choose the vegetables that look the freshest and the most recently picked and the best. So for instance, if kale is on the list, but the kale that's at the store does not really look up to par, go ahead and choose a different green. Maybe mustard greens look better. Maybe the spinach looks better. As long as you're keeping in the same family, I think it's fine for you to make a different choice. Here are some tips for getting ahead of the curve with food. Wash your fruits and veggies well with water and a little bit of baking soda to remove pesticides and dirt. Glass and metal are preferred for food storage over plastic. We'll talk about that when we go over hormonal disruptors. You also want to avoid plastic and Teflon coated aluminum. Okay, you want to try to buy organic vegetables, meat, and wild caught fish and seafood if possible. And we'll talk about organic food later in Nourish. Try to buy frozen fish and meat that's already portioned, or portion your meat when you bring it home. This will help you save time defrosting. Frozen shrimp is super easy in a pinch because it can be defrosted in 5 minutes in lukewarm water while you are cooking the rest of your meal. If you find that you're out of protein, a can of tuna or salmon is great in a pinch. You can add it to your saute and serve it over grains or salad. If at all possible, it's best to soak beans and cook your own beans, but in a pinch, a can of beans works too. You can buy pre-washed and pre-cut vegetables also to save time. In the coming weeks, we're going to talk extensively about whole grains. And one of the suggestions that I make and highly recommend is to pre-soak your grains in order to sprout them. Well, this can be a little bit time consuming in that it requires you to prepare ahead the day before you cook. If you find that this practice is too time consuming, you can purchase grains that are already pre-sprouted from most natural food stores. Speaking of grains, the sweet potatoes, and the spaghetti squash that are on the plan do require some prep. I recommend that you pre-cook these once a week at the beginning of the week, store them in glass or metal containers in the refrigerator, and use them throughout the week instead of cooking the grains fresh. This saves a tremendous amount of time when it comes to cooking. The food plan calls for bread. I recommend that you choose a gluten-free variety. I recommend Sammy's. It's delicious. It's a millet and rice-based bread. The new way of eating that you are choosing does not have to be perfect or rigid in order to work. What matters most is being consistent over the long haul. You might fall off for a meal or a day. Just pick up the next day and try to avoid punishing yourself or feeling guilty or bad about something that you've eaten. If you've eaten it, accept it into your body as nourishment and look for an opportunity to make a different choice the next day, the next meal. Just move forward. The more you practice preparing food and eating this way, the easier it gets. Nothing has to be perfect in order for it to work. If you are eating well and taking care of yourself and nourishing yourself at least 80% or more of the time, you are going to see good results in how you look and feel. So don't feel like you have to do everything perfect in order to do anything. Just start. Today, your job is to print out your food plan, put it on the refrigerator, and save the file to your phone.